In this video, I'll demonstrate how to collect a tissue sample for histology. You will need a pair of forceps, either scissors or a scalpel blade, a jar with 10% buffered formalin, and a Sharpie pen. The first thing that you're going to want to do is label the jar. You're going to label the jar on the base, not the top, because the lids can be switched. You want to make sure that you do label the jar, because if a sample comes into the lab that is not labeled, it will get thrown away. At a minimum, you want to include the patient's name, the clinic name, the tissue, whatever it is. In this case, we're going to be collecting liver, and the date. Now we're ready to go ahead and collect a section of our liver and put it in our formalin jar. It's very important that you have a tissue to formalin ratio of 1 to 10. If you just stuff a bunch of liver tissue into the jar like this, the tissue won't fix and it'll actually rot in transit. If you have a larger sample like a spleen or a leg, it's better to submit that tissue whole and fresh on ice overnight to the lab. If you have a tissue like an eyeball or a digit, it's also better to submit that tissue whole, and you would just put it in a formalin jar that's larger than this specimen cup. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get a section of the liver. Again, our tissue to formalin ratio is going to be 1 to 10. We want that formalin to penetrate into the tissue, so we're going to get a piece of tissue that's roughly 1 centimeter in size. You're going to use your forceps to grab one edge. You need to be very gentle. You can actually see forceps squishing on the tissue if you look at it under the microscope. So you're going to grab one edge and you're going to cut a roughly 1 centimeter section of tissue. And you're going to put that tissue in the formalin jar and securely tighten the lid. You'll want to package that tissue in its own baggie with absorbent material and keep it separate from any other fresh tissues or cytology slides that you might be submitting to the lab. Formalin fumes can impact other test results, so just be careful. Thank you for watching.